Alright, so yesterday I told y'all that I found I Lie Popeye, right? And I wanted to wait till today to talk about it. To recover from how awesome this shit was. Look at me. Come here. Come here. Come here. This shit is peak. Like, I never thought I wanted a Popeye anime after reading this shit. So the story starts off with this reporter here whose name is Judy Patootie, and she came and wanted to ask the question of how Popeye lost his eye. And it starts off in regular Popeye fashion. Like, first off, Olive Oyl tells her version of the story, to which Popeye was fighting a giant merman, and I guess somehow he got his eye punched out, but then he winds up kicking the guy's ass. And then after eating his spinach, he winds up being like Superman and going at Mach speed. Bluto's lion ass started telling his version of the story, to where Popeye was fighting a giant squid monster, and he lost his eye because the monster was using him as a shield against Bluto's punch, to which Bluto went all in and knocked Popeye's eye out. Yeah, sure, Jan. And then it was Wimpy's turn to tell the story, to where one day he was sitting at a restaurant where he was eating hamburgers. Okay, you know what? I got a question that I've been wondering for you. How many hamburgers has this guy consumed over the years? Like, every time I see this man, he's always eating a damn burger. Like, how are you always eating those damn things? I know your arteries are clogged up. But whatever, Wimpy's version of events is that Popeye was fighting a villain named Bill, and after crashing into the restaurant that Wimpy was, Bill decided that he was going to cheat and shoots a laser at Wimpy, and Popeye gets in front of the beam only to have his eye knocked out. And apparently, according to Popeye, that's how it actually happened. But either way, it gets into an argument about who's right and who was telling the truth, and then Miss Patootie over here, she just loses it. And then asks Popeye, where's the eye? And it was at that moment she finally revealed herself, and she's not a reporter, she's actually a Jade Witch. And as they were telling the story, she pretty much went around the island and destroyed every can of spinach on that island, all while under orders from the Sea Hag. And then this Akuma looking thing comes out of the water. Should have called this Popeye's Bizarre Adventure. But while Popeye gets ready to defend his friends, Bluto then comes in and decides that he wants a piece. I don't have to say anything, you already know what happens next. It's this guy with the most savage punch, and apparently it didn't work. Then Bluto gets backhanded and winds up slamming into the side of a truck. So Popeye tells Olive Oyl to take Wimpy to a safe place while telling her the plan. And then after having a little tender moment, Popeye is ready for the smoke. And the more I see stuff like this, the more I want this to be an anime, bro. You even have Bluto throwing an entire truck at the monster. Look at that, he's doing that anime arm stretch thing. But of course, that didn't do shit, and Bluto started giving it some mad licks. So he finally realized that the monster is probably resistant to physical attacks, which leads to this. This is the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen. You didn't have to do that man like that. Like, he straight up headbutted him straight into the earth. But luckily for our favorite sailor, he has a mini can of spinach for occasions like this. He munches on it and goes into his Dragon Ball Z transformation. And then this man gets so jacked. And before Popeye could even deal a devastating blow, which is illustrated in the best way possible, seriously, I want this framed on my wall. Like, this is becoming One Punch Man levels of insanity right now. And before Popeye can land a hit, the Monster Man reveals himself to be a monster girl, at which Popeye redirects his punches because he doesn't hit women. And it was then that the Sea Hag reveals herself and said that this was all part of her plan. And for the first time, we get to see how spinach gives Popeye his strength. Now, according to the Sea Hag, the spinach somehow gives Popeye godlike abilities, making him reach 3 feet of epic proportions. And that's only with a normal can of spinach. Now, if he eats a tiny can of spinach, he only gets 1 feet of strength. And after using up all that power in just that one can, he goes back to normal. Seriously, Marcus Williams just knows how to animate a damn good scene. Like, God. So with his strength gone and still refusing to fight a woman, Popeye winds up getting the shit knocked out of him. I mean, it's brutal, bruh. It's crazy. And she puts our boy out of commission. Like, damn, he's slumped. He is slumped. But luckily, Jeep comes to the rescue with a can of spinach. And after feeding it to our favorite sailor, man's just, I'm just imagining the pain where these arms will literally clock somebody in the jaw. I know if it was my jaw would go straight to another continent. But anyway, Popeye was really firm in his belief that he's not going to fight a woman. Instead, he knows a lot about water. And since, she's made of water, what he's going to do is that he's going to punch the air around her to where it will pretty much generate heat and will evaporate her as, like, he keeps punching. And it actually worked. I'm serious, this is literally either One Punch Man or JoJo's Bizarre Adventures of insanity. Because this is, bruh. Like, look at this. This is insane. And of course, that winds up destroying the amulet, freeing the water lady Susie, that was her name, by the way, from the Sea Hag's control. And after returning back to normal, Popeye gives her a helping hand. Then the comic ends with the Sea Hag getting reprimanded for her failure, and apparently now we have other villains that are yet to be revealed. But judging by how they look, yeah, oh man, we're in for a rough one. But seriously, guys, what more can I say about I Lie Popeye other than the fact that it's definitely worth the read? The artwork is fantastic. The characters remain true to their original counterparts. And the scenes are so anime-esque that it will literally keep you on the edge of your seat. And you could tell that Marcus Williams literally put a lot of passion into his art. And since this is the character's 95th anniversary, I can't think of a better way to celebrate it than to read this book. Like, I'm dead serious. If y'all see this in your local comic book shop, pick it up and read it. You will not be disappointed. And I can't wait for the rest of the series to drop. But overall, I Lie Popeye gets a 5 out of 5 for me.